Hey Buckaroos, today we're going to go back into music scheduling software and we're going to go into MusicMaster and I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to explain them in sort of normal terms and then we'll go through it actually on the computer so you can get an idea of what's involved in actually doing it. This is what we're going to cover. We're going to be covering these things. And these are also the times of where they are, during the video. So if you already know what we're going to be talking about, then you could just, skip over them and go to the next one. Or if you know them, if you know everything we're doing, skip the whole lesson and, and come back next week. All right. So let's get into it. We'll go over to the computer now and we'll start going through it. On the computer system today, we're going to go through something pretty simple. It's tempo. We're going to be talking about tempo and I'm going to show you some things. Some of the basics. There's a million things that you can do on here, but you don't really want to be doing all of them at once. That's for sure. So I'm going to just do the basics of which, if you get these down and you get an idea of what it is, and they're really the same concepts that I told you in the very early lessons, now we're just doing it on the computer. Same stuff though. And all the computer systems, whether it's MusicMaster, which is what this is, what you're seeing, or Selector, or one of the other ones, they all roughly work the same way and they're going to have essentially these type of things in here. So what we're going to do is work on rules. I like to think of the computer as a person, and I'm telling it stuff and having a conversation with it. So I'm going to have a conversation first about artist separation and, hey, when we're playing this artist, I don't want you to play another song by the same artist for X amount of period of time. So that's the first conversation that we're going to do. Then I'm going to do a tempo grid, which is simply song to song. It's playing one song, and what do you want the next song's tempo to be? What's acceptable? The third thing that we're going to do is we would have just given rules to song by song, one song to the next song, and that's it. That's all we're telling it. If we were doing a 7-song sweep or a 6-song sweep, or you want to set it for the entire hour, or you want to set it for the average of the day, you can say, all right, if you're playing these bunch of songs with these amount of tempos, when you average up all the tempos of the songs, you can't average it below this number or above this number to make it super fast, too fast. Okay, so you're going to give it parameters when it's actually playing more than one song. So those are the three things that we're going to do today. And basically, if you set these up, and you usually only have to set them up one time, if you set them up, you pretty much have got the tempo handled for the radio station. You don't usually have to mess with these again. So let's go to the rules. It's the rules section, rule tree. See? All right. And we're going to come up with the rules for the programming. Now, first off, let me just show you this, which you're probably staring around, your eyes are moving, looking. Here's all the categories of music and non-music stuff. Okay, and the same thing are over here, because you can set these rules for overall, or you can set them for a category, or you can set many of these for just a particular song or a particular artist. We're not going to go into that. I'm just going to do the overalls here. And the overall, underneath all categories, so that's for all the categories for everything, you get two sets of rules, unbreakable and breakable. The rules are actually over here. So you would grab one of these rules and drag it over and it will either become unbreakable or a breakable rule. The rule itself won't really change. It's just how the computer looks at it. So again, like a person, you're saying, here's the rule, this is what I want, and don't ever break it. Or, yeah, you can actually break this one. Wouldn't want you to, but you can. I'm going to open these up really quickly to show you all the rules that you can do. Okay, these are all the rules that are actually there. Look at them all. I mean, it's daunting. It really is daunting how much is on here that you can actually mess with. As a matter of fact, you don't want to even attempt to use all of these. You'd want to do the basic radio station and then maybe morph in a little bit into some of these, okay? So let me close them all back up again because there's a ton. Okay, back to normal and more reasonable amount of things to deal with here. The first thing we're going to do is do the artist separation, and that would be a keyword because every artist has its own keyword. So when you add an Elton John song into the system, Elton John would become the keyword for that artist. If you added in Beyonce, Beyonce would be a keyword for any Beyonce song. It would be on every single one of hers. Also, for Destiny's Child would be a keyword for all the Destiny Child songs. However, you would also put Beyonce on each song
of Beyonce's and of Destiny's Child's and vice versa, because she's singing on, she's in the act and she's also the solo. So you put two keyboards on, and that way the system knows, well, even though it says Destiny's Child, it actually is Beyonce on here. I'm not going to play Destiny's Child 2 songs behind Beyonce. So here's how this works. You just say, all right, let's do the keyword time separation. I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to bring it over to Unbreakable. Unbreakable is going to open up, and then I'm going to let it go. Boom, and there it is. Okay. Now it's saying, as you can read this, separate records with the same keyword, same artist name, okay, in the field using the individual times for each keyword. So this is going to be for an overall for the entire radio station, for every single artist. So what do we want to set that at? Let's just set it, if you had Dua Lipa on a top 40 playing right now, what's the shortest amount of time that before she comes up again? Now you might want to set it for an hour, you might want to set it for 45 minutes, you might want to set it for maybe an hour and 20 minutes. I'm assuming this is just sort of a normal regular radio station, AC or a CHR that is not super cranking their songs. So let's just set this at like an hour and a half, just for something. Could be an hour 30, hour 40, somewhere in there, hour 45. If you had a classic rock station, you might set this for 5 hours or 6 hours, but let's just set it for an hour and a half. Okay, so at this point, no song, no artist is going to play next to each other for an hour and a half. Boom, done. Never have to touch it again. What's the next attribute we want to mess with? And that is tempo. So let's go into tempo. The first thing I want to show you is seg protection, and that's basically, I'm going to put it in here again under the unbreakable rule. And you get a grid that looks like this. And what this is essentially saying is, and on selector I believe this is called tempo grid, but what this is essentially asking you is, if you play a song on the air and it's on right now, what do you want next to it? The next song that follows it, what kind of rules you want to tell me? Again, computer being a person. He's the DJ or she's the DJ, the computer. It's playing, as an example, because this work starts from super slow to super fast. It's playing a super slow song at the moment. Maybe it's Justin Bieber's Lonely, or First Time Ever I Saw Your Face, or perhaps the beginning of, or a song that has the tempo of In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, really slow, really quiet. Okay, that's the type of song. What do you want after that? If you had an up-tempo CHR, would you want another one here? No, you definitely wouldn't want to be going, from 1 to a 1, a slow to a slow. So you just double-click in this. Boom, blocked out, restricted. A slow to a slow is restricted. From a 1 to a, from a slow to a medium slow, yeah, I wouldn't want that. So I'd block that out also. From a slow to a medium song, sure, that'd be fine. Going from a slow to a medium fast song, that would be fine. Some programmers maybe would not want to go from a really slow song like Justin Bieber's Lonely to a super fast song, one that's really, really cranking. Personally, I would be okay with it, particularly if there's some sort of a jingle or splitter or sweeper or something, production in between. But even if it just went right to it, I'd be fine with it. But again, some people might want to block that out. I'm going to leave it open. So let's again do another one. Medium slow to a slow. No, don't want that one. Medium to a medium. Yeah, not really. Now, if that was an AC station, that'd be fine. I'd be okay with it. Medium to a medium, totally fine. Medium to a medium fast, absolutely. Medium to a really fast, for sure. Now we're at mediums. What do I want a medium to do? I want a medium to go down to a slow? Totally fine. Down to a medium slow? Yeah, that's good. Medium to medium? Yeah. Medium fast? Yeah. Really fast? Yeah. Medium across the board? I'm good with it. Now we have a medium fast tempo. Do we want to go from a medium fast tempo down to a 1? So we're going now, instead of going up in tempo, going from slows up to fast stuff, we're going down now. Now it gets a little bit more picky. Would I want a medium fast going down to a 1? I wouldn't want to hear that, personally. Going down to a medium slow, yeah, I can handle that, definitely to a medium. Medium to another medium fast, fine. Medium to a really fast, that'd be fine also. Now we're at a really fast song. Picture, I don't know, Get Out of Denver by Bob Seger. It's something that's really, really moving. Do we want it to go from that down to a 1? No. Although there are some people who like to actually program in train wrecks, audio train wrecks of exactly that, so that they stick out. The tact is to actually make them stick out so that people notice the songs, because your universe is so small it gives the illusion of variety if it doesn't happen a huge amount. Okay, so, but I'm just going to say no. Do I want a really super fast song down to a 2? No, I don't think I'd want that. I'd want it to step down from really fast. I'd want it to step down into the medium range and then step it down to a slow or a medium slow. So that would be the grid, and that would be how it would work. And there's some other things here. Do you want to test forward, test backward? I mean, I would test both ways, obviously. Although you probably only really in this instance need to test forward, but you might as well let the machine do it. It's going to do it in a nanosecond. Hour marker at the top of the hour. Do you care about that? Probably I would. So I wouldn't check this. Do I care about break elements? No, I really wouldn't, because if you're doing that and you went to a 5-minute break, I mean, okay, that pretty much wipes everything that went on and you're starting fresh again. So I'd check that I don't care. Record type, yeah, I probably don't really care about non-music. Like, don't consider that, because that might be come up as, yeah, that's a no tempo element. Well, if I went from a slow song jumping up to a medium fast song, but there was production in between, I don't want the production to stop that seg. So that's what it is, and then you just hit OK, and okay, that's done. So now we've told the machine the artist separation, we've told the machine one song segs from one song to another, but we haven't told the machine what to do for a bunch of songs together, because it could, just like, well, let me go back to that. It could, and be totally correct, say it plays a slow song and then it played a medium song, and then it could go from a medium back down to a slow song and do the same thing and the same thing. Slow, medium, medium, slow, slow, medium, medium to slow, slow, medium, medium to slow. Well, that means 50% of your music is slow, but yet the machine is doing exactly what you told it to do. So you need another way, another set of rules to kind of teach it a little bit more about what's right to do. So I'm going to get out of this. And the teaching a little bit more is going to be this one, minimum, maximum, record average. Okay, so let's just drag this under here. And what this is, it's saying, all right, tell me what the minimum average of the tempos should be for the lowest I can go and for the fastest that you want me to go. Here's the slowest, here's the fastest group of songs. Well, how many songs? 3? Well, let's make believe we have a CHR and we have 2 breaks. And in between the 2 breaks, there's 7 song sweeps. You're playing 14 songs an hour, 7 songs, break, 7 songs, break, 7 songs, break. Okay, so let's just take this up to 7. Hard to read. Okay, 7. Now, you can do this. Let me move this out of the way. You can do this in your head if you want to try it, but that's like a nightmare to try to do that stuff. Let me just jump over here for a second. And we'll go through these. Hour marker. Yeah, crossing an hour. I'd still want to care about crossing through the top of the hour. Sweep marker. I don't even know what the sweep marker is, to be honest. I mean, this is it's like new on this thing. It's something I never dealt with before, and you don't have to deal with it now. Breaks. Yeah, I guess you can make a break for skip the breaks in between, and definitely skipping the non-music elements. Okay, so now we're just down to the minimum and the maximum amount of average. Now let's do this. I'm going to bring up a spreadsheet because that's the only way I know how to do it, and it's the easiest way. Here's a spreadsheet I made, and this is just what we were looking at, the tempos, 1 to 9, slow to fast. And I'm just assuming 7 songs in a sweep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's just start putting stuff in here, okay? So let's just say the first song is that you come out of a break and it's a medium tempo song. You don't really want to come out with a slow song. That's your thinking. I come out with a medium song. And then all right, well, let's drop down in tempo and we'll go down to a really slow song. Okay, what do you want to do now? Well, I want to come back up to a medium song for sure. But again, as I'm doing this, I'm trying to come up with the minimum that's acceptable to me. So I could say after that 1, I want to go up to maybe a medium fast tempo, but let's not do that. Let's just go up to a medium. Now, we got 4 more songs to add in, but the thinking of mine would be, yours would be totally different. Some other PD would have a totally different one, and I'm thinking CHR radio station at the moment. If I was an AC station, I would say 2 for what I'm about to say 1. If I'm playing 7 songs in a sweep, I would only want one of them to have any kind of slowness to it, either a 1, which would be a slow, or a medium slow. I only want one of those. I wouldn't want 2. If I had an AC, I'd be good with 2. I might even be good with 3, but for sure I'd be good with 2. So I'm only going to put 1 here. So the minimum amount of fast tempo that I can do, just to get an idea of what the minimum would be that I want to put in here, that I want to put into the rule properties, well, the minimum amount with tempo is a 5. So I'm just going to do 5 all the way out. Okay, so that's what it is. That's weird. Why is it doing that? Okay. Now, let's move to another one. We'll say, well, let's start it out with a medium slow song. Let's start with a 3. And then we're going to come up to let's come up to, say, a medium fast one. And maybe we'll do another medium fast one. And now we'll come down to a medium. And maybe go back up to a really fast one. So we've had our one slowish song in here. That was the first song out of the break. And maybe we got a really fast song. Do we want to put 2 fast songs in a row? Yeah, why not? Let's do 2 fast songs in a row. And then after that, I think you probably wouldn't want to be doing 2 super fast songs in a row. You'd want to drop down to, let's just say, a 5, which would be a medium. So that would be number 2. Now, before we go any further, let's just do this. Let me just put in here a formula that's going to average these, because that's the number we're looking for. So equal sum, and then average, and we're just going to average, choose that, and it's going to be looking for something in here. So I'm just going to, in between those 2 brackets, so I'm just going to do this. Okay, and then I'm going to hit return, and it's going to tell me I have it wrong because I need 2 more brackets in there. I just didn't feel like typing them. Okay, boom, there it is. So that's the average, 4.42. And I'm going to drag this over, and you can see for this one, actually let's make this, it's 6.42, but let's just make this a little easier to read. So let's just change this number to only 2 digits. Let's make it 1 digit, make it even easier. Okay, so this was the minimum slow that I could possibly do. A really slow song and then all mediums, 4/4. This was somewhere in between, but it was pretty fast. Okay, now let's, I can actually do this one, and actually, this was actually okay. Let me just copy this and throw this in here, and I'll slow this down a little bit more. Instead of it being a medium slow, let's just make it a super slow song, 6/1. Okay, so this is still the fastest. Now let's see if we can get one that's really, really fast as we can possibly go here, okay? That would be acceptable. Out of the top of the hour, we come out of the break, and we are playing a super fast song. Following that, we play another super fast song. Now at this point, I kind of want probably the station to drop down a bit and knock down. We could go to a medium fast. I suppose that would be okay. Sure, why not? Let's just see what it comes out to. Okay, now we've been moving pretty good. I think at this point we'd want to go to a medium. Whoa, hello. Maybe back up to a medium fast, down to a medium, and up to a really fast. Let's just stop right there. I mean, you get the idea of what I'm doing. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the low, 4/4, and I'm going to put in the high, which is 7/3. That's a pretty fast hour. All right, but we'll just do that anyway so you know what's going on here. 4/4, 7/3. I'm going to come over here, put in 4.4, 4.4, 7.3 for 7 songs. This is the minimum acceptable on the slow end, the maximum acceptable on the top end. Now, looking at this and knowing what we did, I might actually not, well, you know what, I would probably listen to the radio station to see if this is okay or not, because that's a pretty high top end. It probably maybe should be a little bit lower than this. Maybe should be like 6/8 or something like that. But I would listen to the radio station And, if I like the way it sounded, I just leave it there and go, yeah, this is great. I might even take that 4/4 and put it up to like a 5/5, for whatever reasons. Although I don't even know how you'd get there. I guess you could, that would mean you'd never play a slow song. Probably. Actually, that's an interesting thing. Let's go back there for 1 second here. Hang on a second. Right now we have one slow song and everything else is medium. If I only wanted one slow song per hour, either a slow or a medium slow, if I only wanted one per hour, this is as low as it could possibly get. If I had no slow songs at all, what would it be? 5. Yeah, so you probably couldn't go below, really. You probably can't go below a 5 or probably this. A 4/6. That would probably be, 4/4 is the max that you could go, but you'd want to be playing at least somewhere the dead slow song. But you couldn't go below 4/4 and still have only one slow song per hour. So interesting to play with these and to get a feel for what you want. Again, this could be totally different for an AC radio station or a country station or a rock station or whatever you want. Everything's different. It's up to you building the radio station. For a CHR, I'd be looking at it this way. For a AC, it would be these numbers would be totally different. Anyway, you just hit OK, and there it is. The machine is now handling it for you. One last thing, as I can't remember if I mentioned it or not, we just set this for the entire radio station. If you want, you could just set it for a set of hours. So you could make another one of these grids, the grid and these rules, that I just went through with you, for, say, a love song show on an AC radio station between 7 and midnight. You could just set it and say, between 7 and midnight, skip the other grid, go to this grid, and go to this minimum and maximum for the sweeps. And that's how you would handle tempo on a music scheduling system.
Hope you're enjoying the lessons. If you want to keep up to date, subscribe. Make sure that you hit that notification button so you get notified when there's new lessons. And the like button is also pretty cool too. If you hit the like thing, that actually helps the channel with the YouTube algorithms. We also have a website, musiccomacademy.com. All of the lessons are all there in order on just one single page. You could easily scroll on your phone. Way bigger descriptions there though of what's inside the lessons than you can possibly put on YouTube. YouTube, you get about a sentence. This one you get paragraphs. So, I'm way more detail of what's in the lesson. So if you want to go back, or if you come in the middle of this course and you're wondering what the other ones are, just go to that, MusicComAcademy.com, scroll through, pick out what you want, and then click on the YouTube link and you're good. And it'll take you right to YouTube and it'll show you the video. All right, so glad you're here. Hope you're getting something out of it. Hope you're enjoying it. Until the next lesson, see ya.